Hi, hope you are really well. So today we are going to talk and think about money, and we're going to be transferring pounds into pence. Now, this is so much easier than you probably think. Because it has a decimal point, it does throw children off, but trust me, it is easier than you think. We're going to work through a few questions today. Hopefully, it will really help and solidify some of the information that you already know, and then we can move forward from there, I guess. Cool. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're simply going to be finding out how many pence are in £1.25. How many pence are in £1.25? Now, what we should know already is, in fact, I'm going to ask you, how many pennies or how many pence are in £1? How many pennies or pence are in £1? Can you answer that first, please? Fantastic. If you said 100, you would be absolutely correct. There are 100 pennies in £1. In fact, let me put a P as well, just so we don't get confused, okay? So there are 100 pennies in £1. So if we know that's correct, we can very easily work out how many pennies are in £1.25, okay? So working on the pounds first, we already know that this £1 is how many pennies? This £1 is how many pennies? This £1 is 100 pennies, okay? And this 25 is how many pennies? How many pennies in 25? Because we know after the decimal point, which is 25, after the decimal point, these are pennies anyway, okay? So these stay as they are. So we have another 25 pennies. So we have 100 pennies for our pound, and then we have another 25 pennies. How many pennies is that altogether? How many pennies is that altogether? Altogether, all we're going to do is we're going to do 100 plus 25. 100 plus 25 is 125. Now remember, this is 125 pence or pennies, so we put the P there, not pounds. If you put the pound sign there, unfortunately, it would be incorrect. I do apologize. So in this case, we simply add our 100 pennies and our 25 pennies together to get 125 pence. Okay. All right. Moving on. Don't forget, at any point, if you want to stop the video, make some notes or anything like that, please do so, and to make sure that you understand the information that we are that you're taking on, and that if you need it in your books, you can have it in your books as well. All right, so let's do another one. Now, in 11 plus, you may have, I wouldn't say they're trying to trick you, but you are going to get some tricky questions because you're going to be expected to really understand this information, okay? Not just at base level, but be able to really understand all of the information given. So if you are asked how many pence or how many pennies in something like that, like this on the screen, where you can see that there are no pounds, still, if we did have any pounds, just to go over it again, £1 is how many pennies? £1 is how many pennies? You should remember that £1 is 100 pennies. Therefore, if there are no pounds, the answer must be less than 100, okay? Because here, there are no pounds at all. So we have 29. Now, as we said before, here would show us how many pounds, and this number after the decimal point shows us how many pence or pennies. It means the same thing, okay? We know that we've got no pounds, so we can't put anything there. There's nothing to do. And we can see here, how many pence do we have? We have 29 pence or pennies. So how many pennies or how many pence is in this figure? How many pennies or pence in this figure? We can see that there's 29 pence or pennies in this figure. There are no pounds, so we don't need We don't really need this information, but it's very important to understand it anyway. Okay, so in this figure, 0.29 or just 29 pence, we could also say, if I simply 29 pence, you're not gonna. It's not a trick question. You just have to simply understand the information. Okay. All right. Let's do another one. Moving on. Let me just change the color of my lovely pen here. Oakley dokley. So let's go for another one. So I went to the shop and I brought some apples, red and green, if you don't mind. And altogether, they cost £3.50. But I would like to know in how many pennies this amount was. I would like to know how many pennies this amount was, please. Now, up the top, as always, just as a little reminder, we know that £1 is the same as 100 pennies. Oakley dokley. So let's start working. So we can see that here we have £3. This before the decimal point shows us how many pounds. Here shows us how many pence. Okay, so we know that there are £3 here. £3. So what are we going to do to find out how many pennies in £3? Nice and simple. We are simply going to do a nice quick sum. 3 times 100. Okay, 3 times 100. I'm going to give you 2 seconds to work out what 3 times 100 is. What is 3 times 100, please? Can you work it out? 3 times 100 is simply 300, okay? 3 times 100 is 300. So we know that this £3 is the same as 300 pennies. Now we also have to deal with our 50. We know that 50 already shows us how many pence because this is showing the pence anyway. We don't need to do anything with this 50. So we'll still pop off 50 there. What is 300 plus 50? Nice and simple. 300 plus 50. If we are not too sure, we can simply do a quick sum like so. Pop off 50 underneath, adding up. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 5 is 5. And our 3, we simply carry it down because there's nothing to do with it. And 300 plus 50 is 350. Fantastic. Now, is this 350 chocolate cakes, 350 bananas? What is it? 350 what? It's 350 pence. Fantastic. Because remembering, going back to the original question was how many pence was in £3.50? How many pence was in 350? We know that there are 350 pence in £3.50. Okay, shall we move on and do another one? Let's do another one. Let's move that off the screen. See you later. Okie dokie. Let's change the color of my pen again. All right. So let's say we had. Oh, let's do this one. Okay. So let's say we had £4. £4 and sorry, that's a 0. £4 and 9 pence. £4 and 9 pence. Remembering that for each pound, it is how many pennies? Don't forget, 100 pennies. Okay, please, you got to remember that. Okay, so we need to find out how many pence in this number. Can you remember what the first thing is that we're going to do? What's the first thing that we're going to do? The first thing we're going to do is to work on our pounds first. So we know that we have £4. Again, we're going to go back to this simple piece of information, knowing that £1 is the same as 100 pennies. So what we're going to do with this £4? We are simply going to do 4 times what? 4 times what, please, to find out how many pennies in this pound. 4 times what? Fantastic. 4 times 100. Superstar. All right, we're going to get, we're going to get this 100 from there, and we're going to get our 4 from here. Okay, so 4 times 100. What's 4 times 100? Nice and easy. I'm going to give you 2 seconds to work that out. 4 times 100 is 400. Fantastic. You are a superstar. Okay. Now we're going to add something. What are we going to add? Quick question. Is this 90 or 9? How many pennies? Is this 90 pence or is it 9 pence? Which one is it? And this is what I mean in terms of understanding the information. We've got to be able to identify what this means, okay? This here, 0.9 means simply 9 pence, okay? It's not 9t, it's 9 pence. So 9 pennies by themselves, okay? So really, really simple. What is 400 plus 9? What's 400 plus 9? 400 plus 9, 400 plus 9 is 409, okay? 409 pence. Now, what I've seen a lot of children do is they do this. They go 400 and they add in the 9, but their answer becomes 490, okay? Please, you've gotta be careful. And don't do that. You've got to, if you're not too sure, I would strongly advise, and I know some children are like, oh, I don't want to take the time to do a little grid or to work it out properly. It will save little mistakes like this. This is a very, very, very common mistake. I see it all the time. Even the children that know how to do it, they make that mistake. If you are not too sure, please just simply do a little addition sum. All right, it takes no time at all. We're going to get the 0.9 from here, yeah? We're going to get 0.9 from this one here. Just do a little addition sum. So 0 and 9 is 9, 0 and 0 is 0, and the 4, of course, we drop it down because we don't have to do anything for it. With it, the answer is 409. This 409 is 409, not 490, 409 pence, okay? So be very, very, very careful when you're adding amounts, especially when there's a 0 in front of numbers, okay? We're going to move on and do one more. You're doing really, really, really well. And I hope you find this information helpful and you understand it as well, okay? While you're there, just give us a little like if you do find this information helpful, and I'll continue to make these videos, okay? All right, cool. Let's do another one. Let's go for okay, this one I'm going to try and catch you guys out, okay? Let's see if you've actually been listening, okay? And then we're going to put 0, and then we're going to put a 5 here. All right, so who can help me to read? And I'm laughing because, again, this is another really common mistake, and I feel so bad when children make this small mistake because it's usually children that know what they're doing. All right, so who can read this number? Can you guys read out what amount I have here? Take your time. Please think first. What amount is this? How much have I spent here? I went to the shop and this is how much I spent. This is on the receipt. How much did I spend? Remember, this shows us the good old pounds and this shows us the good old pence, okay? How much did I spend? I hope none of you says £60. I did not spend £60 because I only went to buy some chocolate, okay? So here I only spent £6 and 5 pence. I hope no one says 50 pence. This is 5 pence, okay? You got to be careful and see where these where the zeros are, where these placeholders are, okay? If it comes before, like say for instance, you have 06 or 07 or I don't know, 09, if they come before the number, this is just, they're just placeholders, okay? That's a placeholder. These are just placeholders. Because remember, if we are if we have a look at these zeros, these are placeholders. Now, not similarly, but if we changed the digits around and we put 60, can you see how it changes the numbers? 0, 9, that's the same one, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Tens and ones. Okay. Tens and ones. Remember, we did tens and ones. We did this, or you should have done this probably in year 1 or year 2. What a lot of children do is they forget the information that they've learned. Okay. What is important to remember the knowledge that you've already have and build upon it. Okay. Use the information that you already know. So going back to this amount here, this amount is, and also could be written as £6 and 5 pence. You could also write it just like that, because this 6 here is a placeholder. We have no tens, all right? There's no tens at all. When we changed it, when we changed the digits over, then there's some tens. But in this instance, there's no tens at all. So we could just write £6 and 5 pence. Okay. Let me just clear off my screen because now I've got nowhere to work. All right, let's just get rid of this. So just bear with me 2 tickles. Let's get rid of this. All right. So we know, and we've already identified, that this is £6 and 5 pence. Agreed? Agreed. All right, but we still have to find out how many pence or pennies are in this number. Now we have £6, so we know for every pound there are how many pennies? Please get this correct. How many pennies in a pound? There are 100 pennies in a pound. What do we need to do? Simple multiplication. 100 times by 6. What's 100 times 6? 100 times 6. Let's change the color of my pen. 100 times 6 is 600. Then what number are we going to add? Don't say 50. What number are we going to add? We're going to add 5, okay? Now, again, as I've just said before, previously, we've got to make sure that these are in the correct columns. If you can add this by yourself in your head, no problem, okay? That's no problem. But if you get this incorrect, I want you to listen to the rest of this video, and I'm going to show you how to ensure that you don't get these incorrect, okay? So 600 plus 5 is 605. If you did not get that correct, or if you accidentally put the 0 in the wrong place or something like that, this is how you can ensure that you always get them correct. Just do a simple, really, really, really simple hundreds, tens, and ones chart, okay? Hundreds, tens, and ones chart. We know there's 600, so there's got to be a 6 in here. 6, no tens, no ones, okay? Where does this 5 go? Where do we pop that 5? Is it under the tens? Is it 5 tens? Is it 5 hundreds? Is it 5 ones? That 5 goes underneath the ones, okay? Remember, there are no hundreds and there's no tens. Even if it had a 0 here, we could put 05. It would mean the same thing. Can you see? There's no tens, okay? We don't need to write that there. We can if we want to. You will still get the same answer. Okay, we'll still get the same answer. All right, so let's do this nice and quickly. 0 plus 5, we know that's simply 5. 0 and 0, although 0. Oh, my 0's gone a little bit wonky. And 6 is 6, okay? Can you see how we've still got the same answer, even though we put this 0 placeholder here? Okay, if you can put it in, if you want to, it doesn't matter, all right, because it still stands for none or 0, because it's basically saying there are no tens, okay? Cool, right. That's how you're going to make sure that you never get these kind of questions wrong. 600 plus something, okay, or, hundreds plus tens or hundreds plus ones. Just take the time, do a really, really, really simple hundreds, tens, and ones sum, and just make sure that everything is in the correct column, because I see so many times just someone put in the 5 in the tens column or the 5 in the hundreds column, and Bob's your uncle, unfortunately, the sum is wrong. All right, let's move on. Let's do one more, and then I will leave it. I would leave it at that for the day. Oakley dokley. By the way, just make sure that you're following. If you need to jot down any points, do that as well. All right, so this time we're going to do bum. Let's do, we're going to do a nice large one. Let's go 56, which is quite a lot. £56. I went shopping this time. Shopping for the week. Oh, it's really expensive. £56 and 72 pence. Remembering that our pound, £1 stands for how many pennies, guys? 100 pennies, okay? 100 pennies for every pound, okay? So we got £56 and 72 pence, excuse me. All right, if you have the pound sign here, you don't need to put the pence sign, okay? If there's a pound sign here, you do not need to put the penny sign in as well, okay? Because we know that if this stands for pounds, then this has got to stand, whatever's after the decimal point has got to stand for pence. So you do not need both signs. It's usually one or the other. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, so what's the first thing we need to do? What's the first thing we need to do? The first thing we need to do is find out how many pennies in £56. How are we going to, sorry, that should be over there. How are we going to do this? We need to do 100 or 100 times what? 100 times what? 100 times 56. Brilliant. Well done. You're getting there. Okay. Now, when we are timesing by 100, we know that there should be how many zeros? It should be 2 zeros, okay? So we have 5, 6, 0, 0, okay? Can anyone read? Can you guys read this number? What is this number? What is this number? It's not in the hundreds because it's in the thousands. Hundreds, tens, ones. What is this number? This number is 5,600, right? 5,600, 600, because I've got 600, okay? 5,600. Yes, I know it's a bigger number because we have a bigger or a larger amount here, okay? So because of that, this number is going to get bigger, of course, okay? And then we are going to, what we're going to do to our 72 pences? What we're going to do to our 72 pence here? Remember, we don't do anything to the 72 because we are simply changing our pounds into pennies. This is in pennies already, so we do not need to do anything. Okay, so we have 5,600 pennies and 72 pennies. Oh gosh, let's get rid of that. 72 pennies. Remembering that we have thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. We don't do anything to these because they're written in pennies anyway. Remembering to put our 72 under the correct columns. It should be under the tens and ones column. This is hundreds. This is thousands. Okay, T and H, the thousands. Okay. Now we're just going to simply do what? What are we going to do next? What are we going to do? I'm just going to move my screen up a little bit just so you can see. What are we going to do down the bottom here? What do? We are simply going to add them up. Really, really easy. 0 plus 2 is 0. 0 plus 7 is 7, of course. 6, we're just going to drop it down because there's nothing to do here. 6 goes there. 5, what do we do here? We just simply drop it down. 5 goes there. Remember, this is not pounds. This is, you guessed it, pence, because we've been asked all the while, the question is to transfer these pounds into what? Into pennies, okay? So, £56 and 72 pence is how much in pennies? How much in pennies? Reading the answer correctly in pennies, this is 5,672 pence, okay, or pennies. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. You guys are phenomenal as always. Don't forget to drop a like on the video if it has been helpful. If you want to pop in the comments, if there's anything that you're struggling with, just pop it in the comments and I will gladly make a short video on it. Yeah, it's Cordelia, just helping children with their maths. Hope it helps. Take care and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao for now. Bye.